Also pay.
Okay. Ooh, shocked you.
Yeah, you did. Um, so when we're kind of out and shooting some of this stuff, where like certain things kind of came up, like from my perspective of like where I was, headspace wise, which was not good. Where was I spiritually? Where was I as a dad or as a husband and all that? So even from like I guess like your standpoint, right? Like how did you view me, view us? How were you as an individual? Like, right? Like we always say that 5 years right back is like kind of where everything kind of stopped, but then started again for us. Like,
Mm.
so really wanting to kind of stand, I guess, like from your perspective, because I don't think we've captured that a lot at times.
Yeah. So I think there's several different layers to it.
Yeah.
So I think back to, 5 years ago when the boys were small, and I remember you, just telling me like, I miss you, like I need you. And I think one of the things I reflect back on is how dismissive I was of that because I didn't even have an ounce of energy left,
Yeah.
and I think I remember telling you that, which had to have been super hurtful,
Yeah.
and it was like the truth where you're like, I need you, I miss you, like you're my partner, you're my love, and
Yeah.
I'm so inundated with the boys and making sure they're surviving because they felt like needed me so bad at that point. And yeah, like I said, I mean, I literally remember you saying you like, hey, I need you. And I'm like, and I got it. Like I understood, I
Yeah.
heard you, but I also remember saying like, I hear you, but you're
Go
an ad-
kick rocks.
you're an adult. Like I don't have the bandwidth for you.
Yeah.
And I didn't,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of moms feel that. And I think a lot of dads feel that.
Well, when we pull up in the driveway, it's literally what we're talking about is like, you have this gal that you're hanging out with and she's your buddy. And next thing you know, you're married. And next thing you know, now you have kids. Next thing you know, like as a husband, like you're on the back burner. It's like essentially kind of game over for you,
Yeah.
like, because you have mama brain now. And now it's like you have to, give all your attention to this little human being. And I don't think anyone really talks about that in depth. And what we were talking about there is like, I told him, I was like, I was literally on the back seat. I didn't know what to do. Like she just kind of jumped in the driver's seat, took it all over, and I was kind of standing there. And so I felt like I was in left field. And when we talk about this, same thing, right? Like there's so many people that relate to it, but no one wants to talk about it.
Yeah.
But what I was telling Alex is I feel like as I started getting better with my mental health, you started trusting me again. And so those were things I could start relieving some of that pressure by taking things off your plate. Like, does that, does that, how does that feel?
Yeah.
Like,
100%. I mean, yeah. I mean, same thing, when Connor was born, he was colicky and he cried nonstop. And you had the misophonia, which is, for anybody that doesn't know, it's a mental health hearing disorder essentially,
yeah,
which would throw him into a rage. And so I couldn't leave the house.
yeah,
I had no breaks. It was me nonstop. I couldn't go get any me time. I couldn't go for a walk. And, when we did, Connor was crying the whole time anyways,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
and so, yeah, I mean, I was not only trying to, figure out mom life and with a kid that cried nonstop, but also how to kind of protect you in a way or keep you calm enough,
yeah,
for me just to deal with that. Um, so yeah, like, I mean, I had to take everything on. I felt like
yeah,
I had to take everything
for sure.
on and do everything
Yeah,
and that I couldn't give you anything.
yeah,
And so, yeah, I mean, it even, I think up to probably 2 years ago, you're like, give me more. Like, I'm good now. And I'm like, I don't know what I can give you. And we figured it out. And now, I mean, I give you almost everything now,
yeah,
you know? And like last night where I'm like, hey, I'm going to go to the gym. Like, you got the boys for 2 hours, you're like, okay, cool, go. Like I couldn't have
yeah.
done that before.
No, no. What, how do you feel like, I mean, just zooming out, like, how do you feel like we've progressed, or even how you've progressed, or even from a wife's point of view, like how I've progressed as a husband or a father, or, from your lens?
Keep your hands off it. Yeah, yeah. You can keep it there, but just I want
Okay.
to see your reaction. Okay.
Okay.
Um, I mean, it's been a complete 360
Yeah.
from the way you interact with the boys, the way that you look at things different, the way that, you can sit with their emotions, you can let them have their attitudes, but you
Yeah.
can also be firm but fair with
Yeah.
them. Um, I think before our parenting styles weren't aligned, so I would overparent you because I didn't agree with the way that you were reacting to the boys or handling the
Yeah.
boys.
Oh yeah.
And now, I mean, I feel like I have your back, and if it's something that I don't agree with, I can take you to the side versus like doing it in front of the boys and be like, hey, maybe that wasn't really fair, or maybe it was, and we can talk about it.
Yeah.
And then, sometimes you decide that it wasn't, and then you go and have that conversation eye to eye with the boys and say, hey, I messed up on that, or
Yeah.
like I've changed my decision, or whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
But I just feel like from like our parenting perspective, like we're super aligned. I feel like I can tell you when I don't agree with something now, or when I do agree with something, and I can let you be involved in the decision making
Yeah.
now. Before I made all the decisions, and now I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? Should we do this? Should we not do this? And
Yeah.
so a lot of it was just my own mental health and healing on my own. So sitting with psilocybin or some medicines and realizing how pinged out my own nervous system was. Um, a lot of it was talking through the postpartum anxiety and rage and things that I had that I didn't really know that I
Huh.
had.
Right.
Um, so a lot of it was truly being reflective of myself and how I was playing a role into it. And, by being able to offload some things to you, I was able to take a deep breath. You know, I, early on, I think I remember like being able to sit and not being super tense. Like my body was always just in this like fight or flight that I
Mm.
didn't realize. And when my hands would just be like tight nonstop. And then I remember just like sitting and just being relaxed. I'm like, oh, this is what it feels like to actually have like your nervous system somewhat like regulated and relaxed and
When
to feel safe again.
Yeah, like when was that moment for you? Like, because I talked about like a lot of dates and like a lot
Hmm.
of like aha moments in time. For like me, it was coming around the corner, seeing the yard in a complete disaster from the boys destroying it and not being pissed off about it and not being mad and really pausing. I remember thinking at oh my god, this is what it's like to be present. Like that was kind of like my like for you, like was it a certain movie you were watching? Like what was going on that day? Like that made you kind of like, oh shit, like this is what it feels like to not be all wound up.
I mean, I think the first time I felt it was our MDMA night
Yeah,
together. And when I could actually like lay in your arms and like just lay on your chest, and I felt relaxed and I felt safe again.
yeah,
I think that was like the pivotal moment, but then same thing, just being able to like sit on the couch and watch a movie and realize that that my body just isn't tense. It was
yeah,
more of like a subtle realization, which I think is kind of what the whole journey is, right? Like it's not like these huge shifts. It's like
yeah,
these everyday little things like, oh, I noticed this a little bit differently. I noticed this a little bit differently. Like,
yeah,
oh, I didn't react in that way, you
yeah,
know? But I mean, I think the MDMA really helped me breathe and see you for who you are and all the work that you've done. And that helped me kind of reset myself.
yeah,
Um, oh, there's so much. Um, I mean, I think communication and communication to me is a funny word now. We were talking about this on
mm,
Saturday night and communication, right? So, Chad would try to communicate with me, and the way that he would approach me, I would go into this defense mode, and I would shut down. And same thing, I think it's like the whole like nervous system regulation thing and just not knowing how to react. And so I would literally shut down because I'd be like, what's going on now? And my brain couldn't even process to have a conversation back or to communicate anything back.
yeah.
And then he would think I'm just being smug and like just
You would just shut down and
being a
walk
bitch.
away,
And
and I'm
I'm
like, what the
like,
hell?
yeah. And it would just escalate from there, because you're trying to have a conversation and I don't know how to react to it at that time. And I
Yeah,
needed time to kind of process and sit and think about it. And then as something clicked at some point and I was like, oh, like when you need me to lean in, I lean out because like it was like this tension, right? Because
yeah,
you had some anger and irritability and stuff. And so when he get into those moods, like my body would be like, nope, I'm out. Like my brain would shut down. And so I would pull away or walk away, try to like completely
Yeah.
avoid you when you needed the complete opposite.
Yeah.
And so by me being able to calm down and figure myself out, I was like, okay, I can lean in and listen. And then also same thing just through kind of healing, I realized that you weren't trying to be a dick about stuff. Like you were just
Oh.
trying to have a
Fun to talk.
conversation. But it didn't feel like that to me,
Yeah.
and I think part of it too was, again, like I didn't have the energy, I didn't have the bandwidth
Yeah.
to do any more that you needed me to
Yeah.
do. And so I was like,
Well, and same thing. I think that's where the divorces come in, right? Because like no one's talking about this
yeah,
stuff. Like that's why you grow apart. Like I didn't like I knew you were busy, but I was like, hi, I'm busy too. So it was kind of like you don't really understand. And I think for men, like once I really understood the internal mechanisms of the mom brain and how it's just you're constantly from, oh, I got to pack a snack, I got to get water, they got practice night, oh, I got to get this, I got to do a camp. Like once I understood all that on top of everything else that you're doing, on top of everything, like it was easier for me to like really give you that grace, and then for me to lean in and be like, what do I need to take off your plate so you can
yeah,
get to the gym today, or that you can have 30 minutes to yourself, or whatever that was.
yeah.
Like once I understood that, it made me go, okay, how much bigger can I pack this rucksack so I can take that off your
Yeah.
plate?
Well, and I think too, one of the things that has still been a point of contention that we're getting better at is with, moms or people and their phones and technology.
Yeah.
So at
Get off
night,
your phone.
yeah, I'd be so pinged out, and it was like just a way to like disengage and just to kind of zone out, but I'd be scrolling and he just wants to connect, and he's like, "Can you put your freaking phone down?" And like to me, I'm like, "Can I just have a minute like just to disengage?" And now
Yeah.
I know, like, instead of that, go for a walk, and
Yeah.
I think
It's better choices, right?
yeah.
It's better like I could take my 5 minutes and scroll that turns into a half hour, or I can go on a half hour walk and completely reset
Yeah.
everything. And I think that's what sometimes with the phone thing, I think that's what upsets me is like you can make a better choice. Like we're all gonna be on our phone, but like to that degree, it's like, come on,
Yeah.
I think that's what's again, like we can talk about that now and like
Yeah.
realize like, oh, that's a better suggestion, or hey, that's a better thought pattern. Like we don't get upset at the feedback anymore.
Well, and I realized too that, when you're doing that, like you're not thinking about the day. Like people today do not leave time or space in their day to actually think about the day and their feelings and their emotions and all of the things that have happened.
Mm-mm.
And so if you can create even 10 or 15 minutes, or like that's my time at the gym, is to like process and let go. And I mean, there's times at the gym, like I'll work out and I just have tears trailing down my face. Like no true emotions, but just because of like all the crazy shit that like goes on and the busyness, and are the boys okay, are you okay, all the things. And just to be able to like work it out and like let your body just kind of release that. I don't think people truly think about like everything that happens in the day. And if you can, that's why people say to journal. I'm not a journaler, like it doesn't work for me yet. Probably should. um but it's still a way to process and kind of think about the things that have happened throughout that
Yeah.
day or the last couple days or whatever. And I think that's missing,
Yeah.
is that I didn't even give myself time or space
Well,
to
because
feel all
it's
the things or to process all the things or to say, hey,
yeah.
this was kind of messed up or this
Well,
bugged
it's
me
the
or
norm, right? Like you're done with work, you feed the kids, you put them to bed, you put on a TV show, you roll over, and you go to bed and you
mm,
repeat. And then before you know it, it's a month before you had a date night, before you even had a conversation. And then that's where the angst and the anxiety and the
yeah,
resentment and all that stuff starts piling because we're using all these other things as distractions as opposed to just connecting.
yeah,
And I think we both have realized that too. It's like, again, the more we talk about this, we realize how our stories are very, very similar to millions of other couples out there.
mm,
That it's just like, you just talked about this stuff and you leaned into psychedelic therapies. I mean, it could, I look at it as a way to level up in life. Like it just gives you another way to look at things. It gives you a different way to communicate, understand people, have some more empathy, which I had zero of.
yeah.
Um, so I don't know where I was going with that. Screwed the pooch on that one, dude. Sorry.
But yeah, I mean, we very rarely watch TV anymore, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, if we do, it might be a series here or there we watch for, a couple days, but
Well, it's even like sports, like how I used to watch the Bears
yeah,
play. Like I was intense. I would throw
you
my
were
hat.
intense.
I would scream at the TV. Now I'm like, oh, football season's on. Cool.
Yeah.
But then what I realized about that is like, I know people love it. I still watch it, especially now that Connor wants to watch football. We'll watch it, but I don't watch it with the intent that I used to watch
Yeah.
it. I don't watch it with, oh, we're on the road. We got to find it on the, XM satellite radio to listen to the football game. I'll catch the highlights later if it's that important to me. So it's change in thought patterns. I think it's change of what's important in your life too. So
Well, and for me too, I mean, just because we've connected with some professional athletes that have had some mental health stuff because of their professional skill.
yeah,
It makes me look at players differently. It makes me look at
yeah,
teams differently. It makes me look at like there's a human behind this professional sport that,
absolutely.
you're getting pissed off about that it's like somebody
Yeah,
else has to go home and sit with that,
yeah.
And I know they get paid for it. I know that's their job, but
But
when
there,
you actually like know
yeah,
the people behind it, it makes it hard to watch and get into.
yeah, absolutely. Like I kind of did a journey download with him, of like,
Yeah.
hey, like before I never thought I'd be in the same room and giving 10 minutes of talking about psychedelics with Bobby Kennedy.
Yeah.
I never thought like I'd meet a Cal Callahan or a Kyle Kingsbury. So kind of just like these
Yeah.
were certain moments in time of mental Joe that
Yeah.
like were like really cool aha moments. And I was able to really set with those and go, no, that's like we got there in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Like holy crap, so I
Yeah.
think kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
It can be any reflection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Anything.
anything that wherever, just whatever comes up.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, it's more of um, just grateful, just
Mm.
how grateful I am for the journey. And, you know, I've said, like, as fucked up as that night was, and, the past, even, from 5 years ago or even years before that, um, how much I've grown and how much I've changed and how much more present I am. And I feel like I've such a better mom, so just from like a personal level, being able to really look at our kids and listen to them and let them lead us. And, you know, as much as it sucks, like I'm grateful for that night. I'm grateful for
Yeah.
your struggles because there's no way I would have ever thought of trying psychedelics in my life prior. um, and I don't think, which may work for some people, I don't think talk therapy can get people there as quickly as it's gotten us
No.
and in as much kind of depth and gratitude. It
Yeah.
just grounds you in a way and makes you look at things a lot differently. So I think for me, I mean, when I truly think about, that night 5 years ago and what could have been, and, the year or two prior to that, and how horrible things were, and even, the 6 months afterwards, where we were still contemplating, possibly divorce at some point, until where we are now. And, I think I fall in love with you more, every day and every year. And just the growth that we have and the level of commitment to each other and their level of respect for each
Mhm.
other is, something I don't know that I could have fathomed before.
Yeah. I mean, same. I mean, when we're out on the walk is one of the things I was talking about is like just looking at the whole journey of like it's a really clean line in the sand. Like it's either don't pull the trigger or pull the trigger. Like I mean to realize how close that was, and I hate talking about it, but like it really, like I said, this 5 years so far, it's like holy shit, like what a wild journey. Like how many times we wanted to quit mental Joe, but or just quit things in general. But
Yeah.
because we had perseverance and we had the ability to communicate, thoughts, feelings of, frustrations and what's going on, like we're able to hold that space for each other. And, I mean, you just lost your job like a month ago, right? Like you reacted to that way different than you would have reacted to that 5 years ago, and myself
Yeah.
included. Like, I think we both kind of knew like it would work itself out. Like it's always kind of worked itself out, and 2 weeks later, here you are at a better job and it's busy as hell, but like
Yeah.
you're much more at peace with it, and it's like it's yours and you get to build it. So like that opportunity is completely new.
Yeah.
So same thing. I'm super grateful and the gratitude I have for more and more things of just again learning to live present as opposed to what's next, what's next, what's next, and being able to celebrate those moments is for me. It's never thought in a million years I'd have the ability to reflect on any of that in the right manner.
Yeah. And it was like, last week or the last couple weeks, we had conversations with a couple different people that had talked about, how everybody wants to reach these goals, but then they miss the journey. Like anybody you can get to a top of a mountain, but how long does it take to get there? And are you actually paying attention to the journey that you're
Yeah.
there because you're there most of the time? So what lessons are you learning there? Can you be grateful for those moments? And I
Mhm.
think that those conversations have really stopped to like make reflect also that it's like, yeah, like you're spending all of your days trying to accomplish this goal. So like enjoy those moments and
Yeah.
like the little nuggets and appreciation that you're getting out of those
Yeah.
versus like, okay, you accomplished your goal. Now what? You got another
Yeah.
one.
Look at all the even like I said, I hate bringing it back to mental Joe, but it's so clear with me, right? I mean, 20 years in real estate, and I say, hey, we're starting an apparel company, and I know Dick all about apparel, but you have supported me because you knew I had passion there, and like again, it's opened some really cool doors for us, and it's like I said, I'm very thankful to Gabler and the Prowitz family that, those were our two biggest donations to this day. And, not, we've also, a lot of other people have given us a lot of really small donations and they've all helped us keep
Yeah.
pushing forward. But, I don't think a lot of people realize like Mental Joe is self funded. Like 90%, 95% of Mental Joe is self funded,
Mm.
so it's, and for both of us to still have faith and keep pushing forward on this is like, to me, it's kind of wild because I would have given up a long time ago,
Yeah.
completely. So
Yeah.
thank you.
I mean, for me, I think keep doing what we're doing. I think, like I said, every year we grow, every year we change. As our boys get older, I think we adapt with them and the reactions and what we need to do to be examples to them. But,
Yeah.
I really think the foundation that we've built over the last, 5 years has kind of set us up for a future of success, keep taking care of ourselves because
Hmm.
obviously health is important. We want to be around for a while. And so, I think more so with me, making sure I'm getting my butt to the gym, and doing the things that I need to take care of to
Yeah.
stay healthy long term.
I think for me, it's putting a little bit more intention behind the work, right? A little bit more like, instead, like before with you and I, Mental Joe, or the boys, like I felt I was just, gas station to gas
Mm,
station, going as quick as I could. Now, what I mean by that is like slow down. I can slow down a little bit more and look at things from a different perspective. Um, Even with you, even with the boys, even with family, even with friends. Like, so, I mean, a year from now, it'll be cool because I know every single year, like we're leveling up as a couple, we're
yeah.
leveling up as a family. So, it's exciting for me to now like, what does the journey have ahead of us,
Yeah.
right? As opposed to I was so worried about how we going to pay this credit card and how we going to do this and, what's the next new design or, what thing can we do as a couple for date nights to keep it interesting? It's
Yeah.
just now it's just like, no, whatever appears, like it literally works out the way it should work out. And so a year from now, we'll see. And this
Yeah.
is journaling. If you think about it, like,
Yeah.
sure, we're not putting pen to paper, but like this is a kind of a cool way to journal.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be video, everything's going to be audio, AI is going to be involved. So there's not a whole lot of people sitting down and just writing in journals anymore. So I would
Yeah.
say this is a way of journaling too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, I think we say it, probably not
yeah,
enough, probably not in spoken words, but just the level of respect I have for you and just as a person, as a dad, as a just a person. I mean, you're just a freaking cool person, and y- y- you get a lot of people that don't treat you the way you should be treated. And it sucks to see as like a wife and a spouse that it's like, what is wrong with people? Super frustrating, where,
yeah,
you know, as much as you protect me, I want to protect you. And it's life, but it's like it's crazy how
yeah,
disconnected people are even in this space from like what's truly happening behind the scenes. And I think that's why we try to be authentic about like our story is to, everybody kind of puts on this facade in front of social media, but it's like there's people are doing some great things, but they still have lives behind the cameras and behind the scenes, that are
Yeah.
dealing with life still.
Yeah. For me, it's like I think it's funny, right? Because I get super frustrated when people treat you like crap because I voice it. I don't own it,
Mhm.
I voice it. So, I mean, I'm your biggest cheerleader, and for me, it's cool to see like you finally like taking that. Like when I tell you like you are worth more, you deserve better, you are an amazing mom, like you're an amazing wife. Like I need you to understand that. I need you to understand how cool a person you are. So for me, it's really kind of cool to see you start like coming into your own and you really starting to own it and have some more confidence about like, yeah, like I'm a fucking cool chick and I bring some fucking pretty cool ideas, thought patterns, and just vibes to a different room that normally you wouldn't. Again,
Yeah.
like we go out and we talk to people. Like you're an introvert. Now you're actually engaging with people and you're having those conversations. So for me to someone that's always been your biggest advocate, it's so kind of really cool to see you like start to embrace it more
Yeah.
and more. So, but yeah, I love you and I appreciate you and I'm glad we're on the journey together.
Ditto.